Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21, and Chicago's number one underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Thank you for listening. I'm Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21, and this is
Apollo Taj Mahal.
We are the guys from the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. We know you're going to like the interview, so be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on all the social media platforms, as well as the Missing Time Productions YouTube channel. And don't forget to go to didyousseethatshit.com for a complete rundown of all of our content. Right, Apollo?
Yeah.
I want to welcome back Chris the Cutt Honeycutt to the show, 10-2, Bellator fighter. He's a middleweight. He has a big fight coming up in Thackerville, July 13th against Leo Latit. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just, training and finishing up camp here. The last couple hard days of, getting the lungs blown out, and then I rest up and, get ready to throw down.
And, of course, you're referring to July 13th, Thackerville, Bellator 202. Your opponent, man, Leo Latit, he is 10-1. And, he's coming off a loss to Phil Davis at Bellator 186. And have you watched that fight? Because I believe Phil Davis basically gave you the blueprint on how to beat this guy.
Yeah, I mean, Phil's style and physique is obviously much different than mine. He's taller and he's long, so he's able to keep people on the outside. I mean, my style is more or less, in your face, and probably a little similar to what Leo's style is. So I think it's almost like two styles that just butt up against. It's just he's more of a judo guy, and I'm more of a wrestler. So I think it will be a little more exciting than his fight with Phil Davis. But there was a lot, and I did watch that fight a few times, and there's a lot to take away from it. Just because it went the full distance and, it was a decision. I feel like Phil could have capitalized on opportunities, but he's more of a point fighter. He likes to stand the outside and do that. So, but there was definitely a lot to learn from that fight, more so than any of the other fights that I could find on him.
For sure. Now, in your last fight, you lost to Rafael Lovato. Now, we've gone on to see just how good Lovato is. He's legitimate. He's as good as they get at 185. You fought him better than anyone else has, and arguably you won that fight. I saw some people scored it to where you won. So knowing all of that, do you want a rematch against Lovato later on down the line to show that you can beat him?
The fact that he's winning fights, I'm young. I'm not the youngest guy, I guess, now, but I'm still pretty young. And as long as he keeps fighting, I can't see why that wouldn't happen, regardless if I won it or not. I think he is one of the top-notch fighters in the division, and I am as well. So I think in time we probably will have that rematch. If not for any reason whatsoever than what you just said, is that arguably I won the fight. And when I did it, when the fight was over and they announced the scorecards, I mean, I was in disbelief. I actually truly thought I won the round, especially in the scorecards what they were reading. But if I would have the notion that I figured I lost the first round, not by much, maybe like a 10-9 round, but the second and especially the third, I thought for sure I won. But I feel like I controlled the fight, so that's all I did. And if I had any inkling that I wasn't winning the fight, I would have either had more output. I would have fought on more of an urgency. But when I got him against the cage, he never really tried to get off the cage. He was very content with just using his 6'4" height and just dropping his arm around my neck and just kind of hanging out. I figured that maybe about 30 seconds or so that would give him. Maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he is the best jiu-jitsu practitioner our country has ever produced. But I figured about after 30 seconds or so, he's never actually progressed into a better position since then. Or he never actually took that to the next step of actually submitting me or threatening the submission. So I felt like, if anything, that should have been more in favor of me because I'm not. I don't know, of whatever degree black belt or considered the world's greatest black belt for 2-3 years in a row. whatever his accolades are. I know they're astounding, but you know, I'm the only person to go the full distance with him, and actually, I believe I'm the only fighter that actually even go past the first round. And I watched his following fight. It was sad to see him not fight John Salter. John Salter was a black belt that I started my career off training under until he moved, and I was really looking forward to watching that. But yeah, I think down the road, there's no doubt that we will run paths.
Yeah, as you mentioned, man, both you, all three of you guys actually, you, Salter, and Lovato are all the elite in that middleweight division, and there's no doubt that you guys will all cross path again, man. And you know, you are always getting better. Every time we see you, you seem to add new wrinkles to your game. Without giving away your game plan, what's a new wrinkle that you kind of focused on for this camp?
Well, I mean, he is a he's wrong, but I'm almost certain, because I've heard it from several sources, he is a world champion in jiu-jitsu and judo. So obviously that's his strength. I believe his world champion credentials were for quite a few years ago, and from a couple of the black belts in judo and jiu-jitsu that are within driving distance from my place here in Fresno that I was able to work with a little bit. Also, that the game has completely changed since then, and you know, it's really probably not my highest worry, especially since I wrestled from 4 to 24 year round. That typically wrestling, you know, can stop judo, and then with an exception of just a couple of things, which I worked on a lot throughout the camp. So I think his biggest strengths fall into my biggest strengths, and then what I wouldn't consider my biggest strength, I feel like I'm better than him, especially in the, you know, striking. He doesn't really kick that much. Not that I kick a whole lot, but I'm definitely a little more busy there. So, like you said, not to get rid of the whole game plan, but I think just having maybe a little youth on my side and being a little more overall rounded, I should be able to, as the minutes tick down in the first and second round, I should be able to do more and more. And this should be a very exciting fight.
It should indeed, man. And before I let you go, Josh Koscheck just retired. Of course, he's a gentleman that had a significant impact in your career early on, at least. Have you had a chance to speak with him since he announced his retirement?
Not since he just announced it. We keep in contact a little bit. He by all means, he may be retired from fighting, but he is not retired. He works far more harder now than he ever has. He's got his own company that he's putting the real hours in, the 35, 40, 45 hours a week. So I don't get to speak to him a whole lot, but I mean, he knows my gratitude towards, you know, bringing me into MMA when I was only 23 years old and right out of college. We had the same college wrestling coach and everything. So, you know, he's pretty much given me the blueprint to how the wrestler transitions to MMA fighter, and then I was able to run with it. And then now we have, you know, Deron Wynn and Ed Ruth and Ernest James here in Fresno. So we're all wrestlers making that transition to do great things.
Yes, you are, man. And Bellator 202 in Thackerville is going to be exciting. I should be there covering it in person, so you and I will finally get to meet. And you've always been good to me, so I appreciate you doing this, man. And I always like to give you guys time here, shout out your sponsors, your training partners, anything you'd like, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime. I look forward to meeting you as well. My Instagram and Twitter are both at Chris the Cutt. I'd like to thank my sponsor. I don't think they're rolling yet, but there's Salesforce, it's the family company, and Oak Grove, and Zinc and Entertainment. So, you know, it's the managers that make it all possible in the time the Fast Minutes has been. So I'd like to give a big thanks to them, and I look forward to throwing down in 2 weeks, and hopefully, you know, all the fans in Bellator are excited for the performance.
Well, I know we will be, man. Bellator 202 goes down Thackerville, Oklahoma, July 13th. I appreciate your time, Chris.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.